The following podcast is a next level production.
Found you. Not sure what's worse, those glasses you tried on or that mask.
Are you following me?
I sensed the Noor.
Hey, panelists, welcome back to the show. I'm Mark.
And I'm Steve.
And this is going to be a spoiler-full podcast about Ms.Marvel Season 1, Episodes 3 and 4. Episode 3 entitled Destined, and Episode 4 being Seeing Red. So, Steve, do you want to give us both particular synopsis or synopses?
Absolutely. So for Destined, we have ahead of Amir's wedding, Kamala may face grave consequences due to a crucial decision she makes. That's pretty short, sweet to the point for that one. And then Seeing Red is Kamala travels around the world to solve the mystery of the bangle and her family's history.
Yeah. And overall thoughts about both together? Do you have an idea?
I liked them both, and I have to give props to you. You called it on the end of episode 2. The big bad is Cameron's mom. You figured it out, and her name is Najima.
Mm-hmm.
I love that episode 3. We got a bunch of answers to questions and a lot of things answered, and then we got a few more answers in episode 4. But of course, we got that ending. That how are they going to solve this in 2 episodes? But I'm sure we'll get to that when we get during our discussion to talk about it. But I did look it up. They didn't film in Pakistan because obviously political and religious things, they wouldn't be able to film in Pakistan. They actually filmed in Thailand. So, but it was cool that what they got to do and what we got to see of the culture and of the people. And I read online that there were a lot of fans that thought they were actually in Pakistan. That's how well they did the set dressing and the design and stuff. And for a while I thought, are they actually filming? They can't be filming in Pakistan, can they? And, but
be amazing if they did. But the fact that they were able to do that, a lot of times a lot of the hidden stuff that they do with the Marvel, they do film in Georgia. And
right.
You weren't with us when we went to Sonoy, but in Sonoy, Georgia, they do a lot of filming locations for certain Marvel, Disney, all these different companies, and it's a very big filming locations, and they do that there, and they have a film company with several studios. They did it for, I think, Hawkeye, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, a whole bunch of them.
Right.
And they're able to model and make these things exactly what they need to be for the moment. And the fact that they're able to use, what was it you said, where they were filming?
Bangkok, Thailand.
Bangkok,
and
Thailand.
I think Falcon and Winter Soldier actually did get some filming in Croatia or someplace like that. They did get some overseas time in, but not much. And Hawkeye, I'm sure didn't. I'm sure Hawkeye was all stateside stuff. But
yeah, and they were able to do all that stuff to make it work out, and I'm glad that they do pay attention to those things. With both episodes, I was very happy with what we got.
Yeah.
The third one, I was very happy for the fact that we got a little bit more information about Kamala, the bangle. We do get more, like you stated, Najima comes in. We get that information out. We get the wedding. Kamala's brother's wedding, which I thought was pretty cool, and it was one of my highlights of the actual episode. I enjoyed it very much. Kamala actually taking charge within the actual episode. And then part 4, we go see her, and as you stated before, we go to Pakistan within this particular episode, and she gets to see her Nani, and I think she gets a little bit of kind of more of a connection with her own mom, her mommy. Mammy or whatever she calls her.
Yeah.
And more of an understanding between them. And she learns a little bit more about her powers. She gets more information. And I think the whole point, and just like with Moon Knight and with Falcon and Winter Soldier, is understanding their position within this world before they move more into the movies. And I think that's literally what the end result is with this particular show, is that we're getting Ms. Marvel prepped for where she's going to be within the films. And I think exactly that's what they're doing with all these particular characters. So once we do see them on film, we've already been prepped with these shows. And those people who actually see those films will be able to like, oh, where can I? Oh, it's on Disney Plus. And we could go back, refer to it if we never watched it before. And now we're filled in on the backstory of how they got their powers or where they stand within the story itself. So I'm loving how they're bringing this out with Marvel and how they're creating these characters and setting us up.
Yeah.
And it's going to be the same thing, I think, with She-Hulk as well once we get that.
Yeah.
And I look forward to that as well.
Yeah, that's going to be cool. I love that. You mentioned the wedding scene. I thought that was really great, having the whole Bollywood dancers. And
oh yeah,
as you mentioned before we started recording, it was great that they even included Bruno, because Bruno is part of the family.
Yes,
so they even included him in the dance, and like it seemed like the bride was genuinely surprised. She didn't realize that her husband had been practicing this and was part of this whole thing. And then when he pulled her up there, it was just it was a really pleasant time. And of course, Cameron's mother has to break the party.
The clandestines or clandestines, if you want to call them, get involved because they want to take that.
They wanted to take the bangle,
the bangle itself away from her, take the power, just so they could go. We have a little bit of information too, which, during a simpler time within the episode, she actually gives the story about her great grandmother, right. Aisha, and that is what Kamala needed to hear. We also find out that what they call these people are jinns.
Yeah.
Of all things, a jinn technically is a genie, but in the next episode, we find out later on through the other people that Kamala encounters in Pakistan that if Thor had came down to the world, right, in that particular, he would also be known as a jinn.
Yeah, the word jinn just kind of covers any kind of supernatural being kind of thing is what for them anyway. And so I loved it when she got with that group in the next episode, and they kind of explained to her what the clandestines were. Like, he knew who they were. He knew that Aisha was part of them. We get this whole information that we've been wondering about, this strained relationship between Kamala's mother and her mother, and we discover that in episode 4, where we find out that Kamala's grandmother, her Nani, bought into everything the father told her about Aisha, that she was a jinn, and she was probably talking about all these theories about other dimensions and things, and that caused a wedge between her and her daughter, that caused her daughter to actually be so embarrassed to actually leave the country and come to America. So it's really kind of cool that we found out that information, because we've been wondering, what's the strain? Why is there this strain? Why was Kamala's mom so against her having the bangle and all of that? So it was really great to see how these two episodes kind of played together in that way.
Yeah, in a sense too, it's like we also learned that why her mother left Pakistan from her own mother. Her Ami left her Nani, and that way, because everybody thought her grandmother was pretty much crazy, and her mother had to get away from that and create a whole new world from her, and then she could create this own world where nobody knows her mother. And within the next episode, she is basically saying to her own mother, Kamala's mother is saying to her grandmother, please come to the United States. Nobody will know you there, but we will. But you could start over. I had to live this life of your mother's crazy.
Right. Right. She was able to come here and change her stars, so to speak. Right.
Yeah. And it's more of a family based thing, very cultured, a different culture than, I come from a family that's mostly Italian and, with some English in it, and in the Italian side, I can understand it too, based upon the Hindi and the Pakistani culture based within and how they are. And I know this too from friends. I have a friend who is Indian, who is Pakistani, who comes from Pakistan as well. He and I talk cricket and stuff of that, nature. And he tells me certain things about his culture, and I've known some of this, but it's nice to see it, how it's brought out and presented in this light for the show, for those who have never experienced it in their own. To me, I've had what they had in the second or the fourth episode. If you look at what Pani Puni, and that stuff is hot. And don't eat that during when it's hot outside. Trust me, it'll burn you.
Yeah. I love, another thing, going back to episode 3 real quick before we get too muddied in the waters here. Another thing that was confirmed, because we kind of discussed this at the end of episode 2, was who Kamala was seeing. And it is confirmed for us at the beginning of episode 3 that it is Kamram's mother, that because of this tie to the Noor and because of using the bangle, that's what exposed her to them and what she was able. So it was Kamram's mother that she was seeing in those visions. But then, of course, at the end of episode 3, we get what you already talked about, was the grandmother also seeing the vision of the train, and which is going to play right into episode 4 as well. And, we talked about Nakia a little bit at the end of episode 3, finding out that Kamala is Nightlight. Horrible name. I'm so glad other people acknowledged how bad that name is.
It is. It's such a bad name. It's kind of like what was it? The Monkey Spider, or what it is with Tom Holland and No Way Home. I thought it was funny.
But and we kind of talked about maybe something happening between Nakia and Bruno, and when he takes her out of there might have been a little look there between the two of them. So you might have something correct thought there. So
that is a thought, but it's kind of my friend's rumor. Kind of, if those of you who watched the TV show Friends, it's my feeling is that might happen. And it had happened in the show itself. Not I'm using this as like a movie term. The Friends, that somebody actually did. I forget his name who did it, but Friends did that, and eventually later on they kind of initiated it, and it worked out. I just love that idea and that aspect. It'd be so great because it would leave Kamala alone. No Bruno, no Nakia, but Nakia and Bruno would be together and be their best friends together, instead of where with Tom Holland's Spider-Man he had MJ and then he had Ned. And it's like MJ and Peter, and then there was Ned. Now it's going to be Kamala, and then Nakia and Bruno.
We'll see what happens. You never know. I mean, Kamram got left behind in the United States. So when this comes back to the United States, if it comes back to the United States, we might see him again. Or there might be potentially something with this other kid, the Red Dagger.
Kino.
Kid. So
Kino. And that's something that I enjoyed on episode 4 as well. Not to jump into that, but that first encounter that she gets and the rapport that they have, like he was like a ninja in my opinion during that scene, and that was her going to the railroad. Now I'm jumping into episode 4, but I just love that scene. And it's like then he realizes that she has the bangle. She asks him about Aisha. He goes, "How do you know Aisha?" Oh, and then it kind of clicks, things click, and they're able to work it out. There's a few quips. I just love that aspect within that particular episode. And, I love the one line that he says, it's like, "Come with me if you want to live."
Yeah.
It's like, okay, he's Terminator. And he goes, "No, I just always wanted to say that."
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
That was a great quote.
I love that he says that. He says, "I always wanted to say that, but really, we should go." Like, because the police are there. Yeah. I mean, episode 4 really is the crux of what we wanted to talk about tonight, because episode 3 had a lot in there. That fight at the end where we see that Kamala has really come on a grasp of her powers very well, and she's using them in an offensive way and a defensive way. We see Kamram fight a little bit. We see, and all of that is really cool. And then of course it's the Department of Damage Control that saves the day there at the end by arresting the clandestines. But of course in episode 4 they then escape. But
yeah, they did escape. But the cool thing is that we do get them. The damage control does come into the mosque, and we get that whole thing within the mosque. It's like, next time, please take off your shoes. to the woman. I forget her name. The agent that's there.
Where Nakia knew about search warrants and stuff. Yeah, that was great. That was a good scene.
That was a great report, and it shows Nakia showing her knowledge and how important she is within the show itself, and that the character is really very much needed because she is Kamala's best friend, one of Kamala's best friends too.
Yeah.
Did you have anything else that we could?
Really, from episode 3, not really much else. I had a few little quotes from episode 3 that I thought was pretty funny. When Kamala tells Bruno, she says, "I'm a djinn," and he says, "like Antonic." I thought was funny. And then of course Bruno saying, "I swear he gets my name wrong on purpose," is really, really good. So yeah, just some great little things there. When he boils down what could happen if she actually does try to send them back to the Nor, and he says, if you help them go home, some things might go boom. Because she's like, you got to dumb it down for me, basically. So yeah.
I also love too within episode 3, Mr. Khan coming into which pretty much is like a convenience store, a deli, whatever, where Bruno is, and Bruno is like researching everything about Jen and her powers and everything, but he has to get the fruit pies. Now, mind you, that is something of a Marvel thing from the 70s and 80s. I don't know if you listeners know or remember, or you're as old as I am and I remember it, or I'm just crazy, but they had a whole thing with Marvel with fruit pies. Oh. They had Marvel stuff on there. But he goes, "I can't get enough of these things, but I'm not allowed to eat them." And he goes, "You're secret safe with me, Mr. Khan, Mr. Khan," and blah, blah, blah. And they had a nice rapport. And the fact that, Mr. Khan does appreciate and love Bruno like family as well. And I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I love that Easter egg, though, about the fruit pies, too, because cool. Marvel had some sort of licensing thing where they would put, like, the Incredible Hulk, Spider-Man, and all that stuff on fruit pies back in the late 70s, early 80s.
Oh, very cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Nice. So yeah, I mean, if you want, we can just transition right into mostly episode 4, because episode 4 picks us up on the plane, of course, with Kamala. And I love the running gag kind of throughout this show of the napping pillow. Everybody's like, "Oh, you're a stuffed animal." And she's like, "No, it's a napping pillow." And that's kind of been a running thing, through these 4 episodes where everybody sees her with that animal and they make jokes about it.
And it's stuff. A sloth too. That's why it's napping.
Right. It's her sloth. It's her sloth baby, napping pillow. But yeah, I just thought it was great. It was really just fun. The scene on the airplane is just kind of a fun scene. I think it's a little weird that a mother and a daughter would set with a person in between them. I don't know if it had
to do with flights, and I guess probably those are the cheapest tickets they could probably get.
Yeah, but most Americans, if you have 2 people who are flying together, there's a person in the middle seat. That person in the middle seat will give up that seat and take either the window or the aisle in order to let the 2 people who are actually related set together. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why it was just a little strange to me. Maybe it's a cultural thing.
I think it's a cultural thing.
But it just seemed a little weird to me that they were setting with a stranger in between them.
That is true. I love too about this particular episode, Kamala talking to her nanny about the bangle, and how Kamala is like, when she gets to Pakistan, what? It's like you explains to her and tells her about being a djinn, and Kamala's like, "Wait, hold on, this is real? You're just talking about it nonchalantly,
right?
Grandma.
Yeah.
What's
Grandma's
going
not
on?
freaked out. Grandma's not freaked out about it at all. Yeah."
Exactly. And it's just like, because she was looked at that point by her own daughter, Kamala's grandmother, mother was looking at her own grandmother as like being crazy, but it's like, it is. And this is our family and this is where it comes from. And she gives her pretty much a brief history about Aisha and everything else and how it's all about genetics. It just basically skipped to Kamala. And with that bangle, it just opened up everything that she had. She, basically she tells her how, that bangle had changed her life, talks about the train and basically how special Kamala is. And it was very touching.
Well,
and
that led me to Yeah, that led me to a question that I want to ask, because in light of what happens at the end of the episode, because remember, the grandmother says the last time she saw the bangle, it saved her life, and she was able to follow a trail of stars to her father, right? Which would be Kamala's great grandfather,
Correct.
Aisha's husband.
Yes.
I'm wondering now, and I have not read anything about this. I haven't seen anything. I'm just spitballing this out there. I'm wondering, because apparently it seems like at the end of the episode that Kamala has traveled back in time to the train, to that night.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
And I think Kamala may either meet Aisha, or she may be the one who gives the trail of stars so that her grandmother can find
her grandfather,
her great grandfather. Yeah.
Yeah. I would put it past them to do that. It would be perfect.
I would love for them to somehow wrap that up in a bow with us, because I think that would just be a cool moment where Kamala gets to realize she's the one, who saved the day, so to speak. So
exactly. To put a twist of things in our conversation, but I've already mentioned it too. My favorite scene within episode 4 was the fight between Kino and her meeting him. And their great quips between the fight scene, which was great because Kamala was able to get, her powers in order and know how to fight somebody, and that whole rapport and everything. I thought the mentions of her to about, the way she does everything is like Donkey Kong. And then she talks to him about his fight structure is more about like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which I thought was like, oh great, we got more comic book talk and like cool pop culture. But also the wedding scene where Bruno is dancing, and you already briefed on it, and I thought it was great too. I thought that was a great scene in the sense that, you have something that is Indian based, and you got a white person involved. Now, mind you, he's the odd man out, but I thought it was great of representation of like with the Bollywood dancing and everything else. I thought those two scenes within both 2 episodes, I just loved them perfectly.
Yeah, it was great. And, it's one of those, the moment when she throws the dagger at him and it kind of it hits the ground kind of thing, where she's really,
but she stops it with her light block too.
Yeah, she stops it and catches it, and which is another cool moment. But
and she has the mask too.
That was great. Her. She puts the mask on, which is a little confusing, but I understand kind of why they maybe did it. Because at the end of the episode, when they stumble into that where they had no exit, right? And they had that last fight scene where did Kino kill that guy? It really looked like it. It looked
like it to me too.
So I don't know if that guy's dead or not. We don't know if the Waleed guy is dead or not. I mean, Bruno said he's gone.
But he also, was it Waleed? Is his
Waleed,
name?
Yeah, Waleed, something like that.
Waleed, yeah. And he actually gives her something that she could use for a costume, too. It's almost like a vest. It's purplish in color, which is part of her costume.
Yeah.
So I think we're getting bits because Bruno gave her the mask. She's got this. I think by the end of this show, we will have a complete costume for Ms.Marvel herself. And I thought that was pretty cool. They're basically assembling this as it goes by.
And she takes the mask off right before that fight in the little room there, where then when Najima hits the bangle and sends her back in time. So I kind of understand why she takes the mask off, because story wise, she would have had to take it off when she traveled back in time, but it just being off was probably better. But it just was a little weird to me that she took it off at that moment. Just seemed a little, and that's one of those superhero tropes that they do a lot, where the superhero just wears this little stupid mask that covers part of their eyes, and that's supposed to make everybody not know who they are. You can still see her hair and her face and everything else. I mean, but anyway, but that's just little things of superhero stuff. But
well, that's always been superhero stuff. Think about it. Look at Burt Ward as Robin and Batman.
Exactly.
It's like, hold on, aren't you?
Yeah,
you're Dick Grayson. No, you're not.
No, I'm not him. He's somebody else.
He's somebody else. I have the same haircut and stature. Yeah, my tights are very tight, and I hang around a guy who dresses like a bat. But no, I'm not him.
Yeah.
But also within this, the information given to you said his name. Well, I'll say it as Waleed.
Yeah,
I don't
Waleed,
care.
I think.
We'll call him Waleed.
I don't know if they actually said it in the show or not, but I know in the credits it had him as Waleed, and that's what I'm going to go with.
That we're going to go with that then. The information that he gives Kamala about the clandestines and how it's a different realm. Mm-hmm. So this goes into multiverse purposes, and those of you listeners that are comic readers will know that how this particular Ms. Marvel was granted her powers through the Terrigen Mist. Now, mind you, she was a version of an Inhuman. Now, mind you, we don't talk about the Inhumans because it was such a bad show and movie, but we did get a little snippet of it in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness with the one character that we got, Black Bolt. And honestly, they kind of dismissed it really quick, and I'm thinking this is our next step. And I think that's how they're going to actually invoke the Inhumans as well as the mutants for X-Men. Because they could actually state that the clandestines are basically just Inhumans. Mm-hmm. And they've been with us all this time. We just didn't know. And the bangle is a way for Ms. Marvel to bring that out. Her powers within. And then there we have it. We have the Inhumans. And then the mutants have been on Earth regularly, which are basically genetic doppelgangers of Inhumans, as it were. And I'm looking forward to that. How they bring it out, I do not know, but that's just my radical thought. But I thought it was pretty cool that we get that information, and we got Waleed to actually help further that information, because he shows us it's kind of that weird thing where you see the realm and how they separate, mm-hmm. and how he explains how they want the clandestines are trying to make Earth their home.
Yeah, basically, their dimension or realm, whatever it is adjacent to ours, but separated by this Noor, and yep. they're trying to break it through. Basically, is what he's saying, and he's telling Kamala that if she had done something back in New Jersey, it would have furthered that along. So it's going to be interesting to see going forward how this plays out, and if we find out, he had a lot of information.
Oh, yeah, he did.
About these,
I'm hoping he's alive. That's all I'm caring at. I love that guy. And on top of that, it kind of mimics and kind of gives more information, too, about Shang-Chi, remember?
Mm-hmm. Right, the whole realms, the dimensions, and adjacent realms and stuff like that. Yeah.
And it's more of Asian culture, which this leads to. Yeah. And I think that is perfect for that. And I think that is why we're getting this show particularly introduced to Ms. Marvel. Maybe we'll get more Shang-Chi eventually.
Right. And I did see...
Not Shang-Chi. Remember, Shang-Chi.
Right.
You just, his friend was like making fun of him about that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And also I was reading an article today that actor apparently who played that guy is some pretty famous Bollywood actor who's won a lot of awards. A lot of awards and stuff. And I don't know if he's been in a lot of American kind of mainstream movies. So it was kind of a breakthrough for him.
Oh, that's cool. On top of that, for those of you who are, since things are opening, people are getting out. If in New York City, please go to Madame Tussauds, because they have a whole Marvel wing that you could go to. It's amazing. But they also do have a Bollywood wing, and I highly recommend it. It's very culturally involved, and look at it, because they have a lot of wax figures in there from Bollywood. And to me, it was eye-opening too, because of how important Bollywood is to the Indian culture and to Pakistan and everything else. To me, I enjoyed it. So if you're out there in New York City this summer and want to get out of the heat and go into the nice cold, go to Madame Tussauds in New York City.
Yep. The only other thing I've got, just a quick little note, is I'm amazed that she found the train station with the way that guy was giving her directions, but she was still able to find the train station.
Yeah, you have to add on to that too. Yeah, all right. Yeah, the guy who took the picture of her, and he's basically a street hustler, and he goes, "Yeah, that's $1,500 rupees."
Yeah.
which is pretty much the equivalent of $20, which a street hustler usually does either in California or New York City to get a picture of you in front of something. But she was able to finagle it, and she's a good Jersey girl where she knows, well, give me a little bit more and I'll give you the, $1,500 rupees.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was pretty cool. And, he did her solid, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Bit of another Terminator callback there as well to the kid that takes the picture of Sarah Connor at the end of the movie.
Oh, yes, that is.
Gets $5 out of her, so.
Also, when Kamala's with all the kids at the beach with Chemo and their friends, she, her mother thinks that she's with her cousins, but she's not. She's like hanging out around these other kids that are pretty cool. But the fact is that, Chemo or Kino is pretty much means minced meat. Apparently, I thought it was pretty cute, and it would ask her what her nickname would be, and she said Sloth Bear,
Sloth Baby, Sloth Baby. That's what her production company, her podcast production company, is. Sloth Baby. We saw that
really
in the first episode. Yeah, we saw that Sloth Baby Productions or Sloth Baby, whatever.
Cool. So, yeah, it felt right for Kamala because she felt like she was comfortable within her own skin and embraces all those people and embraced the culture. And the fact that she was like a little concerned about the food and they're eating it out of bags, like kind of like Ziploc bags.
Yeah.
But, she was fine with it at that point. It's not like her face was like boiling over with the, Pani Puni, which is very hot food too. Trust me, you don't want to have that in hot weather out in the bright sun, and it will make you sweat. Trust me, it opens the pores. I didn't encounter that in my time.
Yeah.
But I just loved it, and the episode was very cool. A couple of quotes that I would have that I got from it would be, this would be Nani to Kamala about the bangle. And how Kamala talks about her experiences as it being a puzzle. And she goes, but if you lived as I have, you would find beauty within the pieces. Mm-hmm. And that was her grandmother.
Yeah. I've got a couple as well from the beginning when they're on the plane. And she said, I thought I wasn't supposed to speak unless rules of grounding are not applicable over international waters. I just thought it was a funny line.
Yeah, because she was grounded by her mother. Yeah. The last one I would have would be Kamala's cousin goes, come on, this is not exotic enough for the ABCD's Instagram. American-born confused Desi. And that was about Kamala's lack of interest in her own culture walking about within Pakistan streets.
Yeah. The last one I've got is just when they're on when they're in that cart and they go up on one wheel and Kamala says, I knew you were going to murder me. And Kareem says, we're not there yet. That's what his name, his actual name was Kareem, but they called him Chemo.
But they call him Kino. Yeah, that's his nickname. Yeah. I just love that. These are a couple of quotes that I have left. Would be, I just love that Kamala's mom wants her own mother to come to America after all this time, regardless that she feels torn between, being moved from India and living in Pakistan all these years. She just, they had that nice, lovely mother-daughter conversation. No, it's an older conversation for an older daughter, older woman with their elderly mother and trying to bring her back to America, but in a sense of not leaving her in the country that she's at to live and die, but to be with her family in America where it's a bit different and people don't know who she is, but to be their own. And you could see the love there, especially too with Kamala and her mother too, when she comes back from that, the fire on the beach where, she comes in and both of them had a revelation of their relationships with people, and one being Kamala with those people that she met with Kino or Kareem and those people and finding her place, and then Kamala's mother finding and understanding her own mother. And then they sit there and, there was that ongoing joke about throughout the episode about the toffees and the toffee was it was
It was
hard.
hard toffee. Yeah.
Hard toffee because it's been sitting there and it just kind of like got solidified. She goes, oh, and it was like a mother-daughter bonding moment at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very touching, I thought. It was very good.
Yeah. That's all I had.
That's all I had too. Wow.
Okay.
That was quick. For 2 episodes, I think that's pretty quick.
Yeah.
But that was our coverage for episodes 3 and 4 of Ms.Marvel, and I hope you guys liked it. I look forward to the next episode. We have 2 more episodes of this. How many more episodes of the boys do we have?
We've got 2 more episodes to cover on the podcast. So that's 2 more episodes of Ms.Marvel, 2 more episodes of the boys. And
then we jump into Umbrella Academy.
Umbrella Academy,
Yep, cool. And then most likely Invincible with Jamie and I. Or if Jamie can't make it, then either you, Rob, me, or whoever wants to jump in and have fun with it. That would be great.
Thor Love and Thunder's coming out next week as well. And
yes.
Then, like you said, She-Hulk is coming, I think, later in July. So
yeah, we got a lot of stuff to cover. We might be a little bit delayed, but we're trying to keep up with the times because out of the pandemic, we get all this influx of media that we have to cover, people. Mm-hmm. And we're only one podcast. And honestly, this is a hobby of mine. I just love doing it. But there's only so much time I could do out of the day. Same thing with Steve. We have regular jobs. But we love what we do with this. And we have fun. True. And I hope you guys realize that and enjoy what we cover. That's why we love, if you can give us any feedback at all, it would be great, because I'm loving listening to watching other shows and sending out feedback to other friends that we have. I still have to send out feedback for Strange Indeed, for Stranger Things, and a whole bunch of stuff. I hope you guys are doing that too, because Stranger Things, oh my lord. To me, that is amazing. Oh my Lanta.
Very good.
But that was our coverage for Ms.Marvel Season 1, Episodes 3 and 4. I just want to thank everybody for listening. I'm Mark.
And I'm Steve.
And this was Panels to Pixels. Good night, everybody.
Good night.